would like to welcome each of you and thank you for taking the time away from your family to come out tonight for what I view as a very, very important forum. We have 5 board seats up, and what could be more important than our children? And these people here realize that importance, and they're willing to give up their own time to make a difference in the district. So, thank you to each of the candidates for coming and participating, and good luck. I just feel really proud that you all have decided to make this decision, so thank you for that. I'm Joan Knissen. I'm really honored to be the chair of the board. We do have 5 board seats up because we did have 2 appointments, so those seats are up. My seat, I'm term limited, so in November I am gone. And then we have 2 people Christy Christman, I'd like to introduce Christy. She's currently serving on the board. She served a 4-year term. And Christy has taken on a lot of additional responsibilities with her a relatively new position at work. And I think she has decided it's really hard to be a superwoman all the time when you have a young child at home. So Christy is choosing to go off our board after 4 years. So that seat is up, and Patrick Day has been serving for the past 4 years, and he currently serves as our board vice chair. So how this evening is going to work, since we are doing 2 of them forums back to back, we have particular focus that we're going to have this evening and a different focus tomorrow evening. So please come back again tomorrow night because the questions, except for the very first one, will be different. Then you'll really get to know our candidates. What I am going to do, since we do have 3 seats that are uncontested, I'm going to have those, right now only 2 of them are here, Rick and Greg. Greg currently serves on our board. He is one of the members that we appointed. We appointed him in June. And Teresa Guy, who currently serves on our board, and we appointed her about a year ago. So I'm going to have Rick and Greg really answer question number 1. Tell us about yourself, your involvement in the district, and why you want to serve on the board. And then we'll move along, and I'm going to ask the candidates that are in contested races to answer the other 3 questions for this evening. After that, if depending on the time, my goal is for us to be done at 8:30. If anybody in the audience has a question, Lynn has some 3x5 cards. If you have a question and you would like to have that asked, and if we have time, Lynn will give me those cards and then we'll go through those. But I would really appreciate if you would concentrate on what we're talking about tonight, which is funding and the global goals of the district. Other questions that might pertain to other issues, I'd appreciate if those could be asked tomorrow night. But if that doesn't work for you, then just put it on the card and hopefully we'll get to your questions. So, okay. So, once again, thank you very much. So I'm going to start with Rick. And this is an interesting position because he is a write-in candidate. So it's really important that you know how to spell his name so that you can write it in. So Rick, you want to go ahead and tell us about yourself and your involvement in the district and why you'd like to serve on the board.
My name is Rick Doucette. I've been in Adams County since 2000. I'm the CEO of the Community Reach Center, which is the healthcare or mental health care provider for Adams County. I've been involved with the school district pretty much since the day I got to Adams County. We provide school-based mental health services in several of the schools in 27J and have worked with the past 3 superintendents. We also, I've been working with schools for 25 years, working in extremely large school districts. First school district I worked in was Dallas County, which was the 5th largest school district in the country, 150,000 kids. And the smallest school district was in the San Luis Valley, where it was a 1-room schoolhouse. And have been working with kids in schools my entire career. I feel like I have been blessed with board members and community members that have been involved with me all of these 25 years and felt now was an opportunity for me to give back. So I'm interested in providing my expertise to the board any way that can be helpful.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Greg? Greg is running in an uncontested race, and this is really Greg's area.
My name is Greg Petrasky. I've been a teacher for 14 years. I'm homegrown in the state of Colorado. I graduated from Northland High School in 1994. Have attended, graduated from Metro and CSU with my master's. I've been a JCEA legislative liaison with Senator John. I've served on voluntary retirement committees for JEFCO, making sure that retirement 403Bs and all of that are fiscally sound. As a voting member of that for the last 3 years. I've sat on many JEFCO budget meetings in various stages when it's come to cuts. I've testified for the State Board of Education on how assessments could work for elective classes. That was very interesting, especially right before the Common Core and all the other standards coming out. And I've also served on, for the last 2 years for CDE on the District Sample Curriculum Project, writing district samples for, in the area of music for smaller districts that don't have the large curriculum coordinators that can write the districts and push it out for the various teachers. We sit down, we write various sample curriculums that people can use in the new standards coming up if they don't have the resources for it. I'm a parent of a blended family. I was just recently married this last summer and hope to have future students coming through 27J. And I've also walked on mills and bond issues in the past for this county. That's about it for me on that. So I'm looking forward to hopefully running again for the board. I know I'm uncontested, but knock on wood, please go and vote for me anyways. And I hope to be on the board next year and help continue with what's going on with 27J.
What we're doing, Michael, is in the uncontested races, we're just having you answer question number 1.
Okay.
So it was perfect timing because it was right to you.
I guess the argument with my GPS was right. Well, my name is Michael Landwer. I'm new to the district. I've been in the district for 2 years. But previously I lived in Fort Lupton and I served on the district for 4 years there. When I joined the board, they were on academic watch. When I left, they were no longer on watch. I felt I was a big part of that. Okay. I have 3 children in the district, one in 8th grade, one in 6th grade, and one in 2nd grade. My wife and I live pretty close to southeastern Beacon, so basically those are our home schools as well as doing right time. I am, in regards to serving on the board, I'm a big proponent for teachers. I have family members that are teachers, and I like to be able to provide the best education by giving the tools to the teachers as they need them. Also by supporting them, whether it's showing up at the school and saying they're doing a good job, or bond issues or valid elections, things like that, so I can help, educate the children in the area.
Thank you. Perfect timing. So how we're going to do the rest of the questions, well, I'm just going to ask the people who are in the contested races to answer these. And For example, this first question, number 2, I'll just start with Mr. Gill, and we'll just go down the row. And then, so the first 4 people are running for the seat in District 5. And then when we get to Patrick Day, then Patrick Day and Dr. Barker Carr are running in District 5. Then this next question I'll start with, maybe start at the other end and we'll just go back that way so that Mr. Gill doesn't have to be the first one to answer every question.
Thank God.
Nobody's called me God before, but sure. I'm sorry. Okay, so, and we will have a 2-minute time limit, so don't feel that you have to talk for 15 minutes because Mrs. Sheets is going to time it. So, what do you view as a critical issue in the district, and how would you as a board member work to find a solution?
Great. If you can just let me know when there's 30 seconds left, I'd appreciate it. You know, that's a tough and interesting question all the same because there's so much, so many issues that I think come up, especially for this school board, and namely because of the funding issue for the students. But the 3 that I've come up with, and I think that we're probably talking more some of the questions here, is the most important is going to be the achievement gap, ACT test scores, and the funding issues for the district. And I think that as what I'm most discouraged about is with the ACT scores, is that's really the barometer in many ways for how our kids get through 27J. And the fact that as they seem to do okay in the elementary school, by the time they get to the middle school and into the high school, they seem to not get any smarter. They seem to be falling off. An average ACT score to get into a Colorado school at this point, CU is at 22, CSU is 21, UNC is 20, and there's a few other ones that are a little bit lower. But for the most part, there's only 3 schools in the state that you can get into with an ACT score of 18 or less. The average in 27J is 18. So I think that just the fact that our kids need to have a means in which to go to a school of their choice when they get out of high school. Otherwise, we severely limit what they can do in the future. So without a doubt, that's probably, for me, one of the more pressing issues. I know that when I was the vice president of the charter school, that's something that we addressed on a regular basis
30 seconds.
already. Jeez. And you know, and we did well. I mean, we of course led the high schools in the ACT. It was lower than what it is today, but at least it was improving, which was wonderful. But the fact is that that's going to be the most pressing issue for me right now, is the ACT scores. And I'll talk about the achievement gap, I guess, here in a little bit.
David, how about going back and telling us a little bit about yourself personally, answering question number 1, and we'll do that for each of the candidates as we go.
Wonderful. Now, do I have 5 minutes for that one?
No, that would be like about 15 seconds.
You know, I'm a graduate from the University of Colorado. I have a degree in MIS, which is Management Information Systems. I'm currently a manager for the Denver Adult Probation Department. And during this last year, 2012-2013, I was voted as Manager of the Year for the state judicial system. I'm one of a handful of foster care homes in the Adams County area that will take teenagers. In 2001 to 2009, I was a city council member in the city of Brighton. I was term limited in 2009 and therefore ineligible to run again, really for the rest of my life, according to the city charter, as a council member. Part of I think my biggest asset within council and what I was really known for was my transparency. I do believe that government has to be honest and has to be open. And I'm very frustrated when I don't see that. I think we see enough of that today just in our federal system. I've been appointed to several national committees representing the state of Colorado. I was appointed by Speaker Romanoff of the State Judicial House to the 17th Judicial District Performance Commission on judicial performance. I've adopted a Hispanic youth from the state of Wyoming about 25 years ago, and I'm in the process now of adopting my second son, who's also a mixed race, primarily Hispanic, that should hopefully be finalized in January. and he's a member of the 27J School District, and so I have a huge desire to make sure that we get him through the school the best we can.
Thank you.
Okay, I have lived in the Brighton community since 1990. My wife Sue and I live in the Kramer area, Acres neighborhood. My educational background is I have a bachelor's degree in business administration, a master's degree in information system, and I completed the education specialist studies, CU Denver. I have supported all the bond issues that District 27J has put forward, and that has been due to the experience of being married to a teacher. I always knew all what was happening, how sad it was, and how the lack of resources. They never had enough resources, and we would always go in and buy stuff for her to be able to teach. I decided that I wanted to participate in the Board of Education because I think I can contribute with some of my expertise. I have worked for a school district for 12 years, going to my 13 years, mainly in information technology. And as such, I have been working with teachers more or less one-to-one in a daily basis and helping them with their technological needs in the classroom. And I enjoy working in teams. And I'm a firm believer that consensus in a team is more important than any single person in that team pumping their chest and saying, I did that. It's better to say, as a team, we won. Kind of like money. So on the question number 2, I think the most important issue is the school funding. I think we can have any dreams, any goals that we want to have, but if we don't have the money to make it happen, it's not going to happen, or it's going to happen badly. So I totally support Amendment 66. I know that it's not perfect, but it's better than what we have today. The next thing is what I read on your website on District 27J, the concern with the student, the gap that exists between, and I mind that we're talking about minority students, and that's a problem that we have, especially with bilingual. I'm bilingual myself. So I think that there's no one solution for that problem. I know that they have tried immersion into English, and they also have tried different things. My own experience in that is that it depends on the individual. Where is the student at? If we're going to teach him to read English, and he's old enough that he should know how to read, then we might have to teach him to read in his own language first, so we know that he knows how to read. Now, I have also observed that little kids, like 2-3-year-old, they speak both languages without knowing until you tell them, now you're speaking English, now you're speaking Spanish, So in the little kids, I think their brain is totally ready to learn anything. So at that point, I think English, start with English and continue. I don't see any problem. But once that you have grown, okay, you need to have a balance. But ultimately, I think that we have to get away from the idea that we have a factory and that all the kids are just widgets, that we're stamping them with something and they're going out the door. And we have to recognize that they're individuals, human beings, that we cannot just put something on them and expect to work on it. If it doesn't work, oh well, we'll try something else. Because once that we ruin their life, it's going to be ruined for several years. Sorry, I went over.
Thank you.
Hi. I am not a native of Brighton. I was raised in Fort Lupton, and that's where I went to school. I am a grandfathered member of the DSTA, which is the Denver Security Traders Association. I have my 3763. I've been in management for over 35 years. I'm currently a manager at Costco. I have 3 children, 3 grandchildren, 2 of whom go to the district. I also have my daughter is adopted. She's Native American Indian. And one of the reasons I want and have enjoyed being on the board is being in the district for as long as I have, seen the struggles that have taken place within the district, especially the financial cutbacks that have taken place. 30 years ago, seeing the students struggling and not having the involvement of the teachers and the community has really been a setback for our students, for the Hispanics, for the district as a whole. I think one of the things that, for me, being on the board the last 11 months is getting a clear vision of what the district is going forward with. And they've accomplished so much with the huge cutbacks that they've had. And I'm a visionary. I believe that I see the vision that the district is going in, and I want to be involved to be able to set those visions and goals. In answer to number 2, the critical issues that I see, number 1, the achievement gap, definitely. 2, the student space and the conditions of our schools. I think it's important. We have to remember it's about the students. It's about our children. And in order for them to get the education that they need, with the space, the limited space that some of them have, some of them are being left behind. And that's a serious, critical issue. The conditions of the schools, what are the conditions of the schools? It's something that needs to be addressed. And I think as a board member, getting the community involved, getting the staff members involved, in every aspect of the district to be able to move forward so that we are making sure that the students are not being left behind.
My turn. My name is Stan Hiller. I was born in 1956. I've lived in the same house all of my life. It's in the balance of 27J. What my roots in this community, my grandfather showed up, began teaching in the city of Brighton. I believe the first ESL classroom in the city of Brighton. In 1899, classes started on the 4th of July, 1899. And he worked the deal with a District 27 school board member named Corporal George R. Lee. So my connection to education in Brighton goes way, way back. My mother was a bookkeeper in the Under-Recon administration before World War II broke out. I personally knew Walt and Louise McCon. I taught in District 27J 14 years and School District RE8 for 3 years. I've owned my own business for 36 years here, which was assessed at about $2.5 million in property value in 2005 at the Reynolds Association in Longmont. What really seats at home that I should run, I just experienced lately. I walked into the administration building, I looked up, and there was my dad and his future sister-in-law, Grace Chambers, in the class of 1930, looking at me from the big picture hanging there. This is the only community I've ever called home. 3 friends I know well here are education, business, and history. Add those 3 together, you don't have to be a mathematician. That means you're a 27J school board candidate. This is my home. With 57 years experience here, I think I should do my part to care for it. That's me.
What is a critical issue for you?
Okay, number 2. Parental involvement in the district, I think, is something that we're severely lacking in 27J. There are over 16,000 students here, and how many of their parents are here right now? Lack of interest in students is severe as far as most 27J parents are concerned. Board members must meet with parents by maybe greeting them in the Brighton area businesses like King Soopers or Kmart, something that Joan Kniss and Todd Cordry did. They had their little coffees down at the library. When you go to work, you gotta go to work. When you're in an association, you take the workload on your shoulders. I think school board members should pull addresses of parents from the district records and go out and survey personally at their home. You know, I walked to Area 6 turf with my ballot petition, and it really was a pleasure to hear what people had to say about the board, not always. And I saw many of my personal friends that I hadn't seen in 25 years, and that was great. I think when we do that, we should invite the parents personally to come to the school board meetings. To get the personal touch, they'll come. Without that, it's going to be just like we have right now, a sparse audience. And that's the critical thing, number 2.
Thank you. So those are our candidates for District 6. So, our District 5 candidates.
Hi, my name is Patrick Day. I'm current director of District 5. And question number 2, what do I view as a critical issue in the district? I have a couple, actually I have 2, funding and facilities. And I believe those are the 2 largest issues. We're a high growth district averaging at least 500 new students each year. And our facilities are at the point of overcrowding, and we're in the situation of need of additional space. The district has done a great job absorbing the additional students, but the point of overcrowding is upon us. Second is funding. Our district is one of the lowest funded in the state. Add to that the rescission of 2010 and the cuts in funding for 2011 and 2012 just added to the situation. Now, how to solve these issues? Solving the issues of additional seat space and facilities are accomplished through additional bonds in the district. Bonding is approved by the constituency, and I feel a good way to help with this is to make sure that the constituency in the district understands the facility needs of our district. Second issue of funding, a couple of options to petition state legislation, make sure they understand the issues involved with the recent rescission and cuts in funding. Help get the story to the constituency in our district of our funding situation, possibly gaining positive response for local funding initiative. I've been in the district since 2005. I moved my family out here. I have my wife Paulina and 2 kids. They're getting older now. They both graduated from 27J. My son just graduated last year. My daughter was in the first graduating class of Prairie View High School in 2009. A year after we moved out here, I was concerned with overcrowding in Brighton High School, and got involved with the district in the one of the long-range planning facility committee, and got really interested in how the school district worked. 2009, I ran for a position on the board and was elected, and I've enjoyed serving my time. Look forward to additional time. And the end of the first question is, why do you want to serve on the board? I want to serve again on the board. I want to make sure each child in our district has the opportunity for the highest quality education.
Good evening. My name is Cassandra Barker Carr. I am the Assistant Vice President of Learning Ventures at ACT. I kind of smiled when Mr. Gill mentioned the ACT. The ACT that I work for is indeed the testing company, in which all of the students in the state of Colorado take the test. The state funds the test at the 11th grade. I'm the proud mother of 2 elementary students. My son is in 1st grade, my daughter is in 3rd grade, both at Second Creek Elementary. I've lived in the district since 2009. When my daughter first entered school, we did not attend 27J. We attended Aurora. And part of the reason that we attended Aurora, one, I was working with the Aurora School District at the time. But the second reason is that nationally there is a huge push for college readiness. And one of the commitments that the Aurora School District has made is to school readiness. So my daughter was able to, as an employee of that district, was able to participate in a full-day kindergarten program. My son, last year, was able to participate in a full-day kindergarten program at Second Creek. Going back to my daughter, we did in turn change her over to Second Creek into the Bright 27J schools in first grade. And that has been a great experience for us. Upon entering school here in Colorado, one of the things that you'll find in my profile is that I've been both a middle and a high school principal. I'm a career educator, was a math teacher, and I hate saying was, because if anyone asks me what I do, I will forever say that I'm a teacher. It is a profession that I'm very much proud of and very much a supporter. Part of the reason, a big reason that I will forever say that I'm a teacher is that I feel like teachers are the voices of the students in the classroom. And that is what I wish to contribute to the Brighton 27J board, is to remember the voices in the classroom, the little voices in the classroom. We often talk about the teachers, we talk about the parents, but a lot of times we forget about the little people. And when I say the little people, I don't mean little in size. Their role in the school district is absolutely the biggest role that we need to pay attention to. Upon entering schools in Colorado, one of the issues that I am privileged to engage into an active dialogue nationally is one that was raised at this table about what happens after students leave our schools. And of course the ACT is one of the indicators, but there are many, many indicators out there to show us that what we're offering right now is a broken promise called a diploma. Only less than a third of our students are ready for college, and that's already been pointed out here at the table. But less than a third are ready for college, and most of the indicators also show that less than a third are ready for a career. And so, again, being the voice of the student is what I would bring to the table. It's also one of the critical areas critical issues that we need to pay attention to as a district. Many times at this table, funding has been pointed out as an issue as well. I am a community member that, yes, I am interested in increasing the funding, but I'm not interested in doing the same things we've always done. We often talk about the definition of insanity. We already see through our data that what we are doing is not necessarily most effective for all students. That is something that I've heard and that I've read the board, current and former members talk about, making sure that all students are included in what we're doing and all truly need it. So my contribution to the board really circles around those issues, and I hope I get the opportunity to serve. And I hope I made my 2+ minutes.
You have to kind of do a goal on this.
Okay.
So now it's 2 minutes.
Okay.
Everyone is.
Okay, number 3, and some of you the district is one of the lowest funded in the state. How low would that funding be, Dr. Fiddler?
We were currently 177, 170 school districts in the state of 60 million dollars a year.
So how would you as a board member help to solve this funding crisis, especially in light of mandates from the state and continued growth? You heard 500 students a year still coming into our area school. So let's see, who should we start with? let's start with Stan, and then we'll go back up, and then we'll come back.
For number 3, that's one of the most difficult things on earth to deal with, period. From a business standpoint or from an education standpoint, either one. 27J teachers are among the best paid in the state of Colorado. So parents think their kids should be some of the best educated in the state. I taught in 27J, so I know it doesn't work that way in 27J or anywhere else. Urban sprawl has decimated the small town feel of 27J in large part. New teachers, new students, new parents, etc. don't interact with one another very fast. So somehow we've got to have enough time for these people to interact and get used to one another. New taxes are routinely defeated in this area, so that probably won't work anytime soon. I'm all for Amendment 66, but I don't think she's going to fly. The recession here is not over yet, and taxpayers feel it. As a businessman, I've found quite often that survival depends on saving money rather than getting more money. And I think that's pretty well the philosophy that the current board is going on right now. They try to get $1 worth of goods at 85 cents worth of money. We have to handle the cash and assets of 27J as efficiently as we can. It is painful and difficult, but we may see the sacrifice of non-essentials coming up. We might as well vote for ourselves for that, if Amendment 66 does not pass. There's an old saying that I heard in part in a new song release, and that old saying is, quote, play without frontiers is like war without tears. I'm afraid that's the way we find education right now. This is a very, very tough road to hoe. The agony and the ecstasy of economics is about to unfold here in 27J, and we're going to feel it. Resolution to get Amendment 66 passed is something we must pursue vigorously. We don't dare crumble if it doesn't pass. All district personnel are going to be asked to go beyond any loyalty they have ever felt for 27J. And that's the path I see that we're on right now. It's not going to be a pleasant economic experience.
I think as a board, we need to increase the amount of financial information, presentations that we give to the community, such as the Brighton Economic Development, this Chamber of Commerce, PTOs. We need to have a systematic, strategic plan over the next year, week by week, as to what will go where. And I think in giving the community the financial information that they lack, and I think that's why we don't have that involvement when we want to pass a bond, or we want that extra, when we need that money to build new schools. I think as a board, we need to give the community that information.
I agree with what has been said. I believe that we need to educate the public as to what the funding means for the school. But also, I think the public needs to know the impact of the district in the economy of the community. Because I feel that money that is invested in the school goes straight into the community. Teachers don't have offshore accounts where they put their money and they're not going to buy anything in Brighton. So everything stays in Brighton. If we have to fix schools, they're going to get local contractors. So the impact is, yes, you're going to pay more taxes to support the school, but guess what? It's coming right back to you. So I think that's important, and I think to do that we need to educate the public. As to financial transparency, I think it's important to have financial transparency, but I think sometimes a little bit too much information also can be confusing for the general public. So I think that the best thing from my point of view is to have a common front of educating the public of the impact of taxes, how it's going to come back to you, and then what is it going to do to the students. We need more buildings because the students are in a smaller spaces. Let's show them that. Let's show them how they're, and would you like to be in an office where you're going to have to share the desk with your coworker because you don't have room, right? But I think it goes back to education, and and just having the right message. A bleak message might also turn off people. You have to show that the district is a good hope for the community, and by showing that, you probably can get more success in support. And also, once that you get on the road with one, let's say, schools, that we need new schools, I think no matter what happens outside, we should stick with it. I think you should stick. If it doesn't pass this November, try again the following November. But continue, because it seems that if you don't, then it's like, well, you didn't believe enough in that. Sorry.
It's interesting. I heard some good news tonight. You said we were 172 or 178. I actually thought we were 175 out of 178. So we're 3 better. That's a tough question. Obviously the school board's been wrestling with that question. There's no easy answers to it. I'm not sure I've heard an answer yet on how to address that issue. The very fact of the matter is communication is probably high up there. But for the first time in a long time, first time as far as I can remember, the planets are in a line for Amendment 66. And although I disagree that Amendment 66 is failing right now, it's not. The Amendment 66 is, in fact, a little bit ahead right now of support. But the fact is, what we have to understand is that it's the most non-discriminatory issue we've had before the school district in a long time. We've always gone for mill levies, we've gone for bond increases, but they in nature are inherently discriminatory because they're based on the value of your property. This is the first time when we've got actually a tax increase that is based on your taxable income, which means it's not going to go up every year when your property values go up. It's going to stay static. So if you're a senior and you have a fixed income, then you're going to know that that's not going to keep going up every year. You're going to be asking for more money. Now, I live over near Safeway, near North Elementary School. I pay 90 mills. I pay about $1,200 a year on my $200,000 home. And my mom lives over east of Tower Road. She's paying 150 mills. And hers just keep going up. So she's paying twice, if not a little more, than what I'm paying. And that will continue with the mill levy. This is not a mill levy. This is based on taxable income. So we are in the best position now to be able to pass this thing and have it be non-discriminatory. The fact is, statewide, this issue is based on $55,000 annual income for a taxpayer to pay on. The income in Brighton, average income in Brighton, is $46,000. We're going to benefit from the fact that other districts that are higher paying are going to pay Brighton money to have their kids educated in Brighton. This is where we win in the city. If we need to understand this. We get more money and we pay less tax to get that money, the way this is set up. This is a no-brainer, people. This is something that we should be passing without hesitation because we're getting more money in from the taxpayers surrounding us and making more income per capita than what we do. So this is absolutely a fantastic thing to have right now. And we need to get that word out there. I can go on, but I think my time is up. Am I right? Okay.
Start. To help solve the funding crisis, I think one of the biggest things, and it's been already mentioned here, is transparency with the data, and making sure that there's a sense of urgency in the community. I think there's a lot of information that people just don't know. Mr. Gill just eloquently spoke about Amendment 66 and its effects on our community. A couple of nights ago, I was at the PTA meeting at Second Creek, and Amendment 66 made its way into the conversation, and we started talking about it.